So my talk is titled, What is it that you do again in other adventures in LX, which is short for learning experience. So this talk really grew out of an experience that I had of just having to explain constantly to my friends and family what I do for a living. And in this talk, I'm just going to provide a glimpse in the field of learning experience design and just share some strategies on how others can approach the design of their education-focused content. Okay. Too many screens. All right. So for the past 3 years, I've worked as a senior learning experience designer for McGraw Hill Education, prior to which I spent 10 years working first as a preschool teacher and then working in nonprofit marketing fundraising. So my parents definitely get a pass in terms of, asking what it is that I do every day. But what many don't realize is that they may have seen the work of learning experience designers already, since most of us have had at one point in our time had to take a mandatory training online or had to participate in some sort of online learning experience, either on your own or directly through your company. And that's really where the work of learning experience designers come in. So I like to think of learning experience design falling at that intersection of instructional design, learning technology, and UX UI design. So today I'm just going to show you how I leverage methods from each to make those dreaded, mandatory trainings just more manageable and enjoyable for you. So as an instructional designer, I evaluate and refine learning content, conduct content audits to develop clear structures and learning objectives for courses, and then based on this structure, really create content outlines that then inform the overall design process. Within each of this, we are using a lot of instructional design models, ADDIE, Bloom's taxonomy, and some other things that are currently in the field that I'm happy to talk more about. So what this looks like, with a client, for example, I had a client who wanted to turn a 3-day in-person training and had to obviously change that into a more virtual experience. So what they wanted to do was reduce the amount of time that their employees need to spend at this now virtual training and focus that time on breakout group discussions. They also wanted to be able to use that data to focus the training itself on the results of the online component. So the learners in this course are a very wide range of investment professionals, but they really are operating under these larger 3 organizational learning goals. So what I did to begin with was just to look at the existing course content they had for their in-person training, and from there develop 65 micro learning objectives and 5 key topics just to build out the structure and the key things that anyone who was taking the course online would walk away with. So throughout this process in the beginning, I'm really using, as I said, some of these UX and UI design methods. So first, gaining insight into learners using UX research methods, designing learning experiences that are engaging, usable, and accessible to everyone, iterating on these courses based on key data and research, and then from there, really focusing on developing design systems and solutions for delivering this learning content itself. So now that I've kind of designed the course in terms of the structures, then I get into the actual elements that are going into it from a creative perspective. So in terms of just the icons, brand images, and brand illustrations that really provide me with a whole wide range of possibilities in terms of the learning resources that we can create and how we can make sure that all of the interactive elements and animations are engaging, delightful, and hopefully make the content itself less painful for the learners. So finally, in this last stage is just talking about the learning technology. So I utilize a wide range of tech and software just to deliver these learning experiences in terms of learning management systems, data integration and passback, and software like those that you're seeing right now, such as Articulate Storyline, Adobe Captivate, Beyond, Character Animation Studio, which is a delight to use. And all of this just really helps us, not only gain insight into learners, but really deliver and be able to make adjustments and, really create an impactful course overall. So how does this all come together? So in a nutshell, a quick overview of this is just my evolving process as a learning experience designer, incorporating these methods and best practices from the varied disciplines. So first going from empathizing with learners, outlining those overall goals and structures of the learning content, these crafting of content to match the learner's needs and the goals for the course. What that can look like is anything from acronyms, things that are going to be defined, and really trying to set structures and tone, voice, and style that'll just create this cohesive experience. And then from there, as I said, that's where that content design strategy and the systems come into play. From there, we have everything in place and can go through designing learning resources that are engaging, and then bringing it back to that technology of allowing us to continually iterate and identify opportunities on my end in terms of integrating design thinking into my process. So within the field of learning experience design, there are definitely some unique challenges and opportunities. So first off, as a UX and content designers, most of the time you're focused on creating this concise language. But sometimes as learning experience designers, you have the challenge of delivering a wealth of content, and sometimes that content is not the most exciting or engaging, but really trying to make it as engaging, informative, and delightful as you can. On the flip side, there are a lot of opportunities. I think that there's, especially this year, as everything has moved virtually, there's a lot of companies rethinking how they provide content to their users and their employees. So this has really led to an increase in job listings for in-house or contract role for instructional designers, learning designers, and/or learning experience designers. And because, as I said, there's so much of an instructional component in it, the field really provides a great opportunity for educators, designers, and others, just opportunities to collaborate and rethink how we deliver educational content. So as I said, again, especially as we move to this more virtual setting, many of these strategies and processes I use, can definitely be applied to any educational focused content that you're delivering to your users or your audience, whether it's a new feature, an onboarding, or trying to position your company as an expert within your field. So as you think about how to frame and design this content, just a few things to consider in terms of how you can design learning experiences that are fun and visually engaging for everyone, how you can create opportunities for learners to interact with educational content in new ways, and finally, consider how you can help your learners know exactly what they need to move through content as efficiently as possible. And so needless to say, I think that there's some work to be done in terms of taking my talk today about the field and getting it down to the quick 1 minute with family and friends to explain what I do. Where I'm at right now, I say as a learning experience designer, I design engaging experiences for corporate learners, and try to really bring it back to those learning experiences you have online on a day-to-day basis. And that is it for me. Thank you so much. And I hope that we can answer some questions and talk about this more.